This is Tanner Rainbolt. I'm going to go through my comp exam. Um, Professional goals, next 1 to 5 years, hopefully I'm either teaching PE or starting my administrative career. I'm currently a PE teacher at Wheat Ridge Middle School in Gardner, Kansas. The next 6 to 10 years, hopefully becoming a building principal, specifically an athletic director, and then beyond 10 years, hopefully still in my um administrative career. So I started the program about 2 years ago. It was in fall 2017. So it's been a long process, but a very rewarding one. I'm going to switch to leadership philosophy here. There's a few different areas that I want to talk about. The good thing about the philosophy is I kind of got to know more about myself and more of what type of leadership styles and things that I hold myself accountable for and my strengths as well as areas of growth. So a few things. Number one, want to lead with a vision and a goal to get that staff buy-in to have consensus throughout the building. Leading with integrity, I always try to do the right thing, and leading by example, showing staff, if I can hold myself accountable, hopefully they can hold themselves accountable as well. Building relationships, whether that's student, staff, parents, community members, just continue to reach out, and you never know the resources you're going to gain um, by relationship building. And the last one, just communicating effectively in an organizational manner. Very type A personality, so I like things to be set and clear, um, and I want that to be, talked about with all stakeholders so that they know from my end, what is acceptable, what we expect from their students, what we expect from our staff, and so on. And the program study, I have that in here. I put in what dates that I have completed each course, as you can see. My resume, I graduated from Emporia State in 2013. I talked about that I'm a PE teacher, so my um, got a Bachelor of Science in Education with a major in Physical Education. I talked about Wheat Ridge Middle School where I teach. Luckily, I've had one job out of college and I've loved it. So I just completed my 5th year teaching at Wheat Ridge Middle School again in Gardner, Kansas. I also coach the 8th grade boys basketball team there. I was the 8th grade boys football coach, but I moved up to coach high school football up at Gardner Edgerton High School this year. Just a few highlights on my resume. My bibliography, found 10 sources kind of that pertained to what I wanted to gain from it. Most of it was just about what makes a principal a good leader. um, this first one talks about school centered. The principal reaches out to families. um, this second one was about a female administrator that had 11 different points on how she made things work in her building. She'd been a previous teacher. She made students and staff feel at home. Strong leadership skills here. The role of principal in improving student achievement. So looking at data and empowering, your staff members to look at data and analyze that as well. Technology, big thing here is just providing staff with the resources so that they can, further their knowledge in technology as well as, enhance technology through student learning. Let's see. Again, talked about decision making, that data decision making is key. Empowering leadership. So, delegating responsibilities, listening to your staff, allowing them to be a part of the decision making process. That'll go a long way with building that staff consensus. And the last one was the financial responsibility. So, just again, looking at budgets, fundraising, how to keep positive, money in the accounts, how to manage all of that. Highlight some district activities here. Um, let's see. I was part of the building integration team for our district. So each school had 4 representatives, and we went to the last 2 years through MTSS training once a month. So as you can see here, I got 112 hours. Um, Basically, one day a month, 8 hours a day. We received training on, basically from our district and the MTSS team to make sure that our school and our district goals and vision aligned with the state's. I taught a summer enrichment course the last 2 summers to not only students in my school, but as well as other middle school students in the district. I was part of planning district convocation the past 2 years. This past year, we brought in students. It was really a good staff morale, and we had a couple students from each school get up and talk to our staff about what made their school individually a great place and what their staff members did to help those students meet those needs. I serve on the district leadership team or council. We've met a couple different times to just talk about trends in education and make sure that our district is staying on par or even above corresponding districts in our area. I presented a thing called Chat and Chew to our incoming physical education teachers this last summer. I also met with them each quarter, so once each quarter, to discuss how they were doing in their first year of education. I was part of a health and wellness committee. There's, I believe, 2 middle school, 1 elementary, or 3 elementary, 2 middle school, 1 high school PE teacher that are involved in this committee, and we basically advocate for more physical activity and health for our programs. Elementary wise, different activities that I did here. I served as a mentor to a couple of 4th grade students at Gardner Elementary. They were struggling at their school behaviorally and academically, and just kind of mentored them. They came over. We talked about the expectations for students in PE as well as being a student athlete. I ran an empowerment program at Gardner Elementary with the 4th grade boys. Worked with the boys PE teacher over there, and basically they just learned lessons and about doing the right thing and how to be a good leader, while also incorporating physical activity. Myself and the Gardner Edgerton elementary PE teacher put on a walkathon for the elementary, and our students, the middle school students, came and helped. Kind of were mentors and helpers for the elementary kids. That was a big hit. I presented to the incoming 5th grade parents about our PE program as well as the other electives offered at Wheat Ridge. I serve as the elective team leader, which I'll highlight here in a second. I also helped out with the bike rodeo, pictured here with some 3rd grade students. I chose to do this activity because I wanted students to be physically active. I also want to teach about bike safety and just make sure that they're active outside of the school day. I also helped volunteer at a fall family festival last year. I ran the pumpkin beanbag station. Also helped the Gardner Elementary PE teacher help set up activities and just got to see how family fun night worked out in elementary. Secondary wise, here's where my 13 activities came into play. I am again the elective team leader I mentioned earlier, but I serve on the building leadership team. So we meet once a month after school to basically go over decisions, talk about upcoming events that are going to happen within the school, and then I communicate those to the elective teachers. So here's where the let's see. here's where the it's right here, elective leader part comes into play. Set up meetings with with the administration outside of the school day to make sure, here we call them our admin meetings, but they're outside of the school day, just so elective teachers aren't always on the same board and same page as the other teachers. Just because we don't have a common plan time or meeting time. So I'd meet with the administration after school to basically make sure that I was aware of everything that was going on, and then I communicated that to our elective teachers. Here's the Rock the Walk event, which was like our walkathon. I've been in charge of that the past 2 years. I've communicated with um, community members. So we brought in, not only do we a walkathon, but we also bring in like a karate instructor, yoga instructor. What else? We also brought in like a boot camp, a weightlifting station, just so it's a good avenue for community members to, promote their business, but as well as provide our students with different areas of activity and fitness that they can do outside of our school. I attended a coaching conference this last year. It was really cool. Wayne Simeon was the um, guest speaker, former KU basketball player. Um, Really, the big thing with conferences is making sure that I become a lifelong learner. So just continuing to go to these conferences will help when I do become a principal one day. I've planned Spring Fling, which is our essentially our field day, the last couple of years, and just organized stations. Had community members, parents, teachers help run those stations, and just planning a huge event like this will be beneficial for when I become an administrator. Put on a health and wellness night, so a family fun night for our middle school students and their parents the last two springs. We talked about healthy eating choices as well as being physically active. I helped plan Fill the Ridge, which was basically our pep or spirit squad. Basically, here I set it up for the boys basketball team, which I was the head coach of, and got community members and businesses to donate prizes. So at the end of like each quarter timeouts, we would raffle off these prizes, and it really got student engagement really high within our school. I sat in on assistant principal interviews this last spring. We hired a new assistant principal, and just sitting in on these interviews and just looking at the candidates and knowing the process will be beneficial when I do start applying for jobs. I mentored the new PE teacher at our school this year. Met with him once a quarter to discuss lesson plans, talk concerns, help with instruction within our school. I've presented multiple times here for 8 hours. Different topics include, people first language, our Spurs program, which I'm going to hit here, PBIS program. The assistant principal and I revamped this program. Essentially, there was a foundation when we built it up, just making sure that we develop a program that's going to meet every student's academic, behavioral, and social needs. I conducted parent meetings for both football and basketball teams throughout the last couple of years in the evenings. Just really allowing our parents to just know what's going on within our program, communicating about tryout dates, communicating about our expectations during the season, things in that nature. The activity form here, have everything at the bottom. Everything's broken down, and I've met all the needs for the different categories and components. And the administration verification here, I have the photos. Right here is the secondary. It's the first one. The second one is the district. And the last one is elementary. So that is my comp exam.